Hey, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking about this Vosteed Marten knife today. Really good looking knife. And this is a new knife. It came out in 2024 and sold out. It's the buzz of all the big knife channel guys. and they were restocked, I think, in April, and they're almost sold out again. So you can still find this model here in orange. I didn't settle though. I like the orange. It's very colorful, and it didn't bother me at all to have that orange. But we're going to talk about this knife. Is it worth all the hype and the buzz about this knife? I've got some thoughts on that, and we'll share them in the video. We'll see you in there. All right, welcome back to the Fortified Castle. Hi, all my viewers. A very exciting knife to show you today. This Vosteed Marten. What a good looking knife that is, isn't it? Man, it is just phenomenal. Make sure I get that in. Very sharp looking knife. It's a well designed knife too. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but I usually don't do this, but I want to show you the box, and there's a reason for that. So that's your box, Vosteed Marten. That's what I paid for it. This is a sub $100 knife, so a lot of value to this knife, and that's what I wanted to show you. Is it comes in this regular pouch right here. But this is a nice little leather medallion on the pouch, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that. Little more effort. Also came with your this is your knife information. You know, lube your knife. We're great as a corporation. That kind of thing comes with it. Safety information, a little support card for you to call if you have any problems. Really cool. Let me pull that out. Cool looking, isn't it? Vosteed. And an orange microfiber cloth, which kind of goes with the orange knife. So yeah, a nice little package here, and that's why I wanted to show that to you. Usually I don't. So let's get into this knife. Okay, boy, I got a lot to cover on this knife. So this is a really well-made knife. You can see that, very attractive. Good materials in this knife. It's from Vosteed, made in China. This is aluminum, milled aluminum, very grippy, feels great as soon as you touch it. You know, it just sucks right into your hand. You got a thumb stud deployment, pops right out reliably, very smooth on caged bearings. And very interesting here, this is not a button lock, right? So this is a button lock, has a little button. And here's a little bar that this pushes in and releases the knife. That's a button lock. This is not a button lock. It's a compression lock, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. And on that compression lock, there's a button. You can see the button goes across. And basically what a compression lock is a liner lock on the top of the knife instead of the bottom. And in this case, that compression lock is activated by a button right there, which is very convenient, very reliable, works great. So in the intro, I talked about how this is a great knife, but maybe not. And so what I mean by that, and a very popular knife, and I'm going to do the overall specs on the knife first, and then we'll talk about why this may not be the best knife, even though it's a really good knife. That doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense, but when I tell you about it, it will. All right, so we don't. So we're not confused why this knife may be a problem. I can explain it in 4 words: 3 3/4 inch long. 3 3/4 inch. Okay, that's 4 words right there. That's the closed length on this, is 3 3/4 inch. And if that sounds small, ooh, yeah, it is, right? It is. That is not the normal size of a modern folding knife for EDC. Every single one of these knives right here, that is the Pilar, CJRB Pilar, the Kaiser Chili Pepper, even the Kershaw Link, are all larger than this knife, but these are small knives. And so now you see what's going to be the problem with this knife. And to give you an example, here is the nightshade. And so one of the biggest problems with this nightshade is it's 3 3/4 inches long. And when you open it up, it's a axis lock or a bar lock. And so it's actually not too bad. You get good 3 fingers on it. You can even choke up a little on this and get you a little bit more. But one of the reasons I don't carry this knife, it's a beautiful knife, exceptionally well-made knife. But one of the reasons I don't carry it is because it's just too small to access the locking mechanism on it. And so when you have this lock, you can see how high up this knife gets in my hand, and only your fingertips are on here. The pocket clip gets in the way. It's very cumbersome to shut this thing. Very, very fidgety little knife, but it's just kind of difficult to use everything. And when you look at this and this, you're like, well, this is bigger, so this is an improvement over this knife shape. Not really. They're exactly the same length. So if you put this on here and you look right there, they're the same length. So why did Vosteed do that? And actually, it looks bigger if you put them up there. It's very deceptive. It does look bigger, but it's not, and that's the problem with this knife that I have from the beginning. So if you watch my channel, 3 3/4 inch traditional folder is in that range of my favorite sizes. 3 3/4 to 4 or 3 7/8 is perfect size. And how can that be perfect in a traditional but not a modern folder? And so the difference really is you expect to use 2 hands to open up a traditional knife, and then it's open and you can use it, and it's just, you can almost get 4 fingers on them a lot by choking up a little bit, and it's not really an issue. But on a modern folder it is, because when you go to access this, you can see I'm already shifting the knife up into the middle of the palm of my hand to hit this lock on here. And I don't have to do that really to open it, but to close it I do. And that is why it's problematic in a modern folder to have a 3 3/4 inch handle length. All right, so we're going to I'm going to cover the specs on this knife, then we're going to get into this compression lock here. And so what you have is a 3 3/4 inch aluminum milled handle on this, It's awesome. You've got black, at least on this model, black attaching hardware. You have an ambidextrous clip, can be moved to either side, and a nice little pivot design right there. These are, geez, I should have checked that. That's definitely a 6. This may be an 8. I'm not really sure. I apologize for that. And you have a nice anodized thumb stud here, which is how the main deployment on this knife. When you open it up, you have a really nice belly, kind of has a little bit of a sow belly here. Kind of comes out a little to create more belly in the knife. Really nice hollow grind on here. Very thin behind the edge. It's going to be a slicey blade. You've got some little bit of jimping right here, and a nice choil, finger choil. We're going to talk about that. And you can see the Vosteed here. It is a blacked out blade, 154 cm steel. So that's a premium stainless steel. It's going to give you good edge retention. It has good strength to it, and it's a step above most of the stainless steels in that mid-range. So that's all good to go. Action on this is really smooth. Let me show you that. So if you actuate that, she just drops. There is a detent on this. That's an issue for a lot of guys. So you can see the detent right here. Hear it click in. It's really low on here, and nice little detent on it. Does easy to overcome with this, but prevents it from popping open. So that's a problem on button locks. On button locks, they don't have detents, and so it's a little easier to overcome the closed setting on the knife. You see I open that just by snapping it, and that's the problem with a detent. So there's a lot of areas where that's an issue. That would be considered a gravity knife for some city laws, and that's why a detent is important. But some guys just like having a detent on there. Anyhow, I digress. You've got a nice adequate hole for a lanyard if you like the lanyard. If you're a lanyard guy, nice little plastic backspace. That's a look at your compression lock right there, your lock bars. Nice little knife. Really grippy knife. So you can see, yeah, if you hold the knife the way it's designed to be held, it's only 3 inches right there. But you can come up a little on this little point right here and get right away, you get 4 inches. But if you use this choil right here, this is really nicely designed, this choil. So you see that my finger, a lot of times on these choils, you get the choil and you see how your finger kind of roll up on the blade. If you don't do that right, it's kind of poking into you and uncomfortable. But when you pull back on this, you can see there's a lot of clearance there on your finger. And I've got fat little fingers, so this is really well done. It gives you a really nice supported grip down here. And you know, yeah, that's nice. It's done well. Feels very comfortable like that. The blade is 2 15/16, so 2.9 inches, and falls under that 3-inch. That's legal in a lot of places. A lot of people are going to not like this choil because it's taken another 1/2 inch off the length of your cutting edge right there. So, but you know, when you think about this, if you look at knife testing videos, they're only using 1 inch of the knife. You really don't use the whole blade, except sometimes when you're like cutting cardboard. But even when I cut cardboard, I'm using, just an inch in there. I'm just going down like that. So, really you don't use all of the blade anyhow. You only use either the front up here if you're doing a cut like this, or if you're cutting long ways, you're only using a little part of the blade down here. So I don't, choils don't bother me. I like them. I like to be able to choke up on a knife anyhow to get a little more control when you're having to dig a little hole into something. So yeah, that's the specs on the knife. Let's talk about that compression lock and another potential problem with this knife. Okay, a compression lock is like a liner lock, but instead of having the liner lock down here, it's moved to the spine of the knife up here, which is an advantage because down here you're putting your finger down there to open it, and then you start closing the blade and your hands in the way. And liner locks do have the potential to be a little weaker just because of their design. And so I'll show you a liner lock here on this Civivi Lazar. You can see right there, you have this split liner that is coming over and locking your blade. So you have to push it and then push the blade shut a little, and there's a potential for you to be cut if you're not careful. So easy to overcome with a little bit of training there, but that's the advantage of a compression lock. So on a compression lock, you release that liner on the top, you see the blade comes down, my fingers are out of the way. That's really nice. Spyderco came out, I think, in 2000 with the compression lock. It's up there in the video right now. You can see in that picture that you're accessing the top of that lock and pushing it over, and it provides a better lockup, because if you look at that picture, the you have three sides really. Instead of a liner lock, the lock comes over and hits the tang of the knife right there, and that's the lock. But on a compression lock, your tang is coming in here and the lock is coming over like this, so it gives you a 3-point access. It also locks with the lock bar, and so that's a 3-point lockup, and it's a lot stronger actually than a liner lock. In 2015, a knife maker called Kevin Smock licensed the rights to use the compression lock from Spyderco, but he made some modifications. He put this button on it, and so instead of having to roll that over with your finger like a lot of liner locks were, now you kind of made you had the convenience of a button lock where you can just press down and open the knife, but you also had that strong lockup of a compression lock. And so that is a patented item that belongs to Kevin Smock. Now, I don't know whether Vosteed is licensing this. I would think that the compression lock, the patent has expired, I would believe. So others can do a compression lock now. I may be wrong about that. Maybe Vosteed just licensed the compression lock and the button. I don't know. But I don't think the patent on the button lock has definitely not expired. The button compression lock. But the compression lock, it may have. But that's a beautiful thing. Now, the problem is when this thing is engaged, you can see. Let me show you. Yeah, so you see it's locking right there, and how far out that sticks. And then when it's disengaged, it's a lot less. Now, some would argue that a button lock isn't isn't much more. You can see right there. And that's one of the problems I have with a button lock is there's not a lot of engagement there. It's not a no-brainer. It just feels funny to activate that. It's not a lot of surface area to activate on that. Here's another one from CJRB. Same thing. It's that they're really small, and you gotta kind of concentrate on pressing down on them. So that's the problem with the button lock, and this has the same problem, I think. Look how well that's done. They put the mill marks into the button, which matches the mill marks on the edge. Just a really well designed knife. But yeah, that's another issue that you may have with this knife. You may not like, if you don't like button locks, you may not like this either. But it is a lot more convenient, and it is a stronger lock by far than a liner lock. And maybe some people have argued that it's stronger than a frame lock. I don't know about that. You actually only have a little piece of metal that comes from, yeah, so that liner is going to stick out as a tang from this point right here to this point right here. So it's a little tiny, maybe a 1/4 inch. And then it's only, same thing. It's only this wide right here. So maybe a 1/4 inch wide that you have actually as your lock. That's a little piece of metal. I wouldn't be convinced that that's the strongest lock. So we'll take a look at some competitors in this range and talk about a little, why did Vosteed make this knife? So I started out with why did Vosteed make this 3 3/4 inches long, and the problems I saw with the knife shade, and really why I don't use this. This is an incredible knife. The build on this is it's a fantastic knife. It's just too small for me. But there's probably definitely a market for these smaller modern folders. I mean, there's just a lot of guys probably that like them. I don't really like them that small. So if you look at this Kaiser, the Kaiser is a little bit bigger here, about a 1/4 inch bigger. And I thought this Kaiser was a little small, but you can see to actuate it, it's down here where when I actuate the Marten, it's up there. So let me show you that. So to activate that, you see it's going a lot higher up. It's just a lot more cumbersome. So that's what you're going to see. There's really no competitors for the size of this. They're all going to be in this 4 to 4 1/4 range. This is a really nice knife. Feels great in your hand. The pyrite, and a lot of different blade options in this. This is a spray steel, which is an upgrade. It's like a particle metallurgy steel, an upgrade over most steels. And this was also sub $100 that I spent on it. But you can see it's a lot bigger there. I need to get over this and show you a better there, give you a better attitude there. And this is the Civivi Lazar, and you can see that a lot bigger than it. And even the Kershaw leak is just a little bigger, but it's around 4 inches. How big is that leak? Let's measure that. Yeah, it's 3 7/8, so it's still bigger, and I've always considered this leek to be really small. You barely get your pinky on there. But this is a really big competitor to this knife, this because the leek is American made, good materials in the leek, and a little bigger. Once again, this would probably be the closest competitor to this knife as far as size is concerned. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So this is just the knife you're not ecstatic about, but you just hate to hate it. It's a very well made knife. Some really good design features on this knife. It was really well thought out, and this button compression lock is really nice. I think you'd like it, unless you just don't like button locks. But this is not a button lock. And so if your reason for not liking a button lock is that you don't trust them as far as their lockup, this is a better lockup than a button lock right here. It's a 3-point lockup, and a button lock is only a single point lockup. So just a better design for this knife right here. Come on, snap in. Yeah, so I like it. This is probably going to be one of those knives where I'm not crazy right up front, but it just grows on you. You know, I think that will happen with this knife. But you just got to be, be aware of the disadvantages of this knife, because there's a lot of hype about it, and you go out and spend money, and then you're like, oh, it's too small. Oh, I don't like that compression lock. All these things. Yeah, you got to realize, these knives are hyped up, and really good knife, but it may not be the knife for you. I think actually this is going to grow on me. I'm going to like it more and more. So, I never really liked the leek. This was given to me by the knife doctor, and, as you use and handle these things, you just get to appreciate them. So I don't have any problem with the leek, and I found myself saying, why did I not buy this knife years ago? So, they'll grow on you. I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to give it a positive review. I don't know that I'll recommend you buy this just because it's smaller, and a lot of guys it's just going to be too small. But it is, if you're interested in this knife, it's fantastic knife. So if you're kind of on the edge there, may not be the knife for you. Appreciate you guys checking out the video, and we'll see you in the next one.